Surprise, motherfucker! What's up? This is your friendly neighborhood, Vendor Satanis. Give you a little preview of this guy. Obviously, it's not laminated yet. That's the next step. But this is a cool map. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see some of the details. Yeah, in one day soon. The Chult bastards will be adventuring there. So, really quick, this is a continuation of everything from storytelling, story gaming, and story now, as opposed to story before and story after. Just to recap, story before is when you kind of set things up, like, oh, this is what's happening, this is the plot of the scenario or of the session or the campaign. This is how the story in each little part is going to be laid out and processed throughout the whole thing. And then story after is the PCs do a bunch of stuff, and then you hope to get lucky and come up with some sort of cohesive, engaging narrative at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, that you hope that it feels like an actual story happened, which may be better than the railroad of story before, but isn't great either. So that leaves the alternative of story now, where the game master tries to infuse story or a cohesive, engaging narrative in the moment while the PCs are there and while the players are playing the game. Now, you don't have to have a narrative like the adventurers are trying to save a kingdom and rescue a princess. You could have a narrative like that, but it doesn't have to be. I would suggest having 3 or 4 narrative keys or plot points as an alternative to actually plotting the whole thing out, which you don't want to do because this is not a novel. This is a collaborative imagination game where everybody contributes. So what I would suggest, so something like, okay, I came up with 3 a little while ago, so I'm trying to remember them now. Like, let's say for the first one, you can't trust elites or people of position. Maybe the people in the government or the higher ups or the priesthood or the federation or ambassadors and trade regulators, whatever. So like, let's say that's number 1. Number 2, anything with the color purple is likely to be weird and fucked up and extremely dangerous. Plot points or narrative key number 3. Where are my numbers? Okay, number 3 is somewhere nearby there is a broken down bus full of ninja cheerleaders. And I don't know. Let's say we're gonna throw a 4th one in there too. There's an NPC who's like a trickster that kind of gets in the character's way, but also might have some extraordinary powers. So he's not really like their chief antagonist. He's just their chief annoyer. Let's say his name is Garblegax, and he's a half demon, and for whatever reason, he loves to get in the player characters' faces and annoy them, and just like He's a shit disturber, and he just likes to, fuck with people, and he loves fucking with the PCs for whatever reason. That's your narrative. That is, and then like, let's say you're running a session, you hit each one of those points at some point throughout the 3 or 4 hours or 5 hours or whatever you're playing. If it's a campaign, you're going to want to try to hit at least 3 out of the 4, like, even if it's just a little detail, every single session. If that's what you choose. I mean, you choose the plot points. You choose the narrative keys to create that cohesive, engaging story or narrative. So whatever you choose, implement that, and that's how you build the kind of story that we want, without overshadowing, without overplotting, without going into story before. And then if you have something like that, you can work that into a published adventure, or you can create something on the fly, or you can use procedural roles and tables and things like that, to come up with the details of the session as they happen. So anyway, that is, if you want to approach story now and you're looking for, like, well, what does that mean, or how do I do that, I basically just told you. So you might think this is easy or it's hard, but this is the way that a lot of people game master, maybe consciously, maybe mostly unconsciously, probably. They just know that the game should have something to, like, abide by the living story. It's not just about the living world, it's also about the living story. And you do that by pinpointing different plot points or these narrative keys, and then drawing them into the actual scenario, the actual sessions of the campaign. And it's not the same as, like, scripting things out. Like, you have the inciting incident and the rising action and the climax and the denouement or whatever. So it's a different way of doing it, but it does pull things together. It does unify all the disparate pieces. And I think it creates a very compelling experience, and it's the way I game master, or try to. And if you haven't used it, you should try. And if you do, feel free to comment down below with your experiences. I would love to hear about them. Other people would love to read about them. And let's talk. If there's anything else you want to know about storytelling, story gaming, Story Now, post it down below. All right, thanks.